I can already see I'm a ruler in this kingdom. I think if I can control how they feel, I can control how they think. If I can whoop these all-stars, doesn't that mean I'm the best ever? I'm Russell Hantz, and this is the Russell Hantz Show. What's happening, guys? So, I wanted to reevaluate again. Now, I evaluated the cast 3 times, and I'm going to go and tell you exactly how that went. The beginning of the season, my top 5 that was playing as hard as they possibly could was number 5, Natalie, and that's because at Edge of Extinction, you've seen how hard she was working to try to get back into the game. We have number 4, Adam. You've seen Adam never quitting, always working hard as well, looking for idols. His name was on the chopping block. He was able to stay alive for a pretty good period of time. So I had back then, this was probably about 5-6 weeks ago, I had Adam as my number 4. I had Michelle as my number 3 because I was like, man, it looks like she's going to do something. Looks like we got Michelle. She's going to start playing. And I seen a little spark in Michelle, and that's why I had her number 3. I had number 2 as Tony, which is interesting. And I had number 1 as Jeremy. Jeremy is somehow staying on this list. This would be my 3rd time doing the list. That was my, 5-6 weeks ago. But Jeremy, he started moving down on the list because I wasn't liking that he was jumping ship. He was leaving his alliance. He was constantly doing things like that. And I seen that, and I was like, well, that's not that good. So all of a sudden, when I reevaluated, I put Jeremy number 5. Now, I'm not sure how many people was left at this point in the game. I know the first time I evaluated, I had quite a few people there. But at this point, I don't know how many people they had. But anyway, I have number 5, Jeremy, number 4, Tyson. This is when Tyson got back into the game. I know that. And he was laying low. I remember he was doing well. All of a sudden, we was like, oh, maybe he's playing right this time. Then he did the same exact thing, got voted out, and now he's at EOE. And number 3, I had Sophie. She was new to the list. All of a sudden, she started creeping up on that list. And a lot of you probably see why. She started, she was playing a solid game. And I feel sorry for her. She went home. She got blindsided, but that's how the game works. She went not home. She went to EOE with an idol in her pocket. So, that's it. But then, anyway, number 2, again, I have Tony. So, a while back, I seen Tony working hard when he was not working at all. I put him at number 2 when he wasn't doing anything because I thought that was super strategic with a personality like that, not doing anything. Now we see Tony obviously stepping up his game. And number 1, I had Denise. Now, I made this move when Denise made that big move. All of a sudden, I'm about to reveal my top 5, but all of a sudden, we see Denise, and everybody was talking about, the Queen Slayer. She did such a great job. Well, I didn't even give her my Russell crown when she did that move because I didn't see it as that big a move. Yes, it was at that point in time when we watched it. Oh, it's a great move. She's playing the best, Denise. I even had her my number 1. But I didn't give her my Russell crown. I gave that the crown to that week. I forgot who I gave it to. But anyway, so we see that now she's not really doing that much. It wasn't that hard to get rid of Sandra. When she did, she only used half. Only half of her move worked. So now we see in her downfall. I'm going to say right now that she did not make the top 5. What is there? 7 people left, and she's not even top 5. So, or is there 7 or 8? Whatever the number is. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal my top 5 of the players that's playing left. And that's including EOE. So that's including who I think is going to come back from EOE. And it's obvious to anybody watching the show who has the best shot of coming back. If Vegas had odds on it, they would have even odds on Natalie coming back. We see, Rob in the challenge, he couldn't even beat 5 people in that challenge. So, so we see his challenge abilities starting to go on a downward slide, and that may be due to him not eating or whatever, or getting older. But obviously, he finished that challenge, and he didn't have to. He exerted more energy to do something like that for nothing. So I think that he's in trouble when it comes back to the next challenge. Parvati, yes, she could possibly come back. Of course, Adam may have a shot. Never know. Tyson has a strong shot, but the odds go to Natalie coming back, and because of that, I'm going to put Natalie again in my top 5. What does she has? 8 fire tokens, and she'll probably be able to skip 2 parts of the next challenge, and she has an idol. So yes, I have Natalie coming back from EOE. I think that Vegas would have Natalie coming back as we're watching it unfold before our very eyes. Okay, we'll move on. Number 4, I have Nick. Now, Nick, all of a sudden, he was kind of like Adam back in the day. We was always saying, let's get rid of Nick, let's get rid of Adam. And he was like, I'm going to do something, this messed up. And, he started getting mad and started trying to play the game, trying to work hard. Now, he did try to sway with Kim. It didn't work out for him. That may get him a little bit of trouble, but I think everybody's in trouble at this point. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. We all know who number 1 is going to be. But if you take Tony out of the mix, then you really have a free fall. You really have a game to where it's on. And whoever does take Tony out the mix, would be the more interesting thing, because that person all of a sudden becomes a huge threat. Now, I have my number 3. I have Sarah. Sarah's the only one really that played an advantage, and it actually worked for her at this time. She played Jeremy did too. He walked away, but she played the Still a Vote, and it confused everybody on the other side. It was a pretty good move. Like I said, except for number 1, my number 2, my number 3, number 4, number 5, it's a free fall. It could be, you could switch these up any way you want, except for Natalie. And if Natalie comes back, then I don't see her winning the game, but I have to put her on this list, because I'm not going to put Michelle on the list. I'm not going to put Ben on the list, and I'm not going to put Denise on the list. I just don't think that they deserve to be playing the hardest at this point in time in the game. We see what Denise just did, and to Jeremy, and I think that may hurt her. All right, so number 2, it's Jeremy. Jeremy was number 1, then he was number 5, and then now he goes to number 2. I have constantly been talking negative and positive about Jeremy. I'm not sure what's happening with that. Is it going to be okay that he keeps flipping on his alliance, but he's been on the right side of the vote every time? Is the jury, if he made it to the jury, will they respect that fact? I don't think so. I think that he is the type of person you bring, even though everybody else there seems to think that Jeremy is going to win the game. You hear it time and time again from different people saying, oh, Jeremy has this. Jeremy's going to win this. So them saying that is bad for Jeremy. But would he? Would he really? I don't know. Comment below if you think that Jeremy would have a strong shot at winning. I mean, nobody has a strong shot. Number 1, Tony. Nobody has a strong shot at beating Tony. It's just not going to happen. I don't care. It would be worse than you put season 19 and 20 with me, when a lot of people call it a bitter jury. You put them both together, and you still would be more disappointing if Tony doesn't win if he's at the end of the game. He has to. And I had Tony number 2, and number 1. So I've been seeing a solid gameplay from Tony this entire game. Some people are saying he ain't doing nothing. He's just sitting around at the beginning when I had him number 2. He's just sitting around not doing nothing. That's a hell of a strategic play for someone like Tony. Now, someone like Michelle, That's not a good strategic play. You can't say, oh, I'm not going to do anything right now. Someone like me, that would be a good strategic play. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Somebody like Rob, lay low, not do nothing for a little while, then start shooting at the end. That's a good strategic play. You know, we're physical, we're aggressive players when it comes to or strategic play, and I think that Tony, his best move in the entire game was laying low at the beginning of the game. I didn't know he could do that. I didn't think he could do that. We seen him season 2, and he did the opposite of that. He did like crazy. One of the worst comeback in history. Matter of fact, I have, I'm not going to spoil the list, but I have a list coming up, top 10 of worst comebacks, which would kind of like the last one I did, the best comebacks. This would be the second time they played, and, you know, who did the worst the second time they played. I just did a list on who did the best the second time they played. That one's dropping tomorrow. So, yes, Tony is number one on the list. I'm not going to do another, you know, reevaluating the cast anymore. This is it. It's starting to get down to what's it's going to be. It's obvious. I think Tony is going to be in the finals. I think Natalie, because think what's going to happen. You bring back a player. That's who you want to bring to the end of the game. I don't think any one of these people would want to vote out Natalie if she's the one that comes back. So I can see Natalie in the finals. I can see Tony in the finals, and Jeremy's looking pretty good as well, because I think that's going to be a sidekick. I don't think Sarah's going to make it, and I can't wait to see how Cops Are Us comes to an end again. I hope that for viewing television purposes, entertainment purposes, that Sarah goes down again because of Cops Are Us. Doesn't seem likely, because Tony looks like he's in pretty good relationship with Sarah. He almost gave her the idol. So, you know, we'll see. Anyway, that is my top 5. Again, reevaluating the cast. None of that's going to happen again. It's my last time doing it. I have another video dropping tomorrow. If you like this kind of content, then hit that like button. Hit that subscription button. We have 25,000 subscribers at this point, over almost 26,000. We have 100 Patreons. I appreciate you guys as well. If you want to be part of the Russell Hantz Show, you can be part of the Patreon group. You can see that in the description below. And that's all I got for you today. So I hope you enjoyed. Keep hope alive.